What's up everyone, my name is Costa, and today I wanted to share with you 10 minimal effort habits that I have implemented into my life that have greatly simplified it. Alright, so I'm gonna be real honest with you. I'm lazy. I like things to be simple. I like them to be automatic because I know myself. I know if it's up to future Melissa, she's not gonna do it. So it's up to present Melissa to make it as easy as possible for future Melissa. That being said, over the past few years, I've just adopted a few simple habits that have greatly simplified my life. Basically, the idea behind all of them was to make teeny tiny changes, just small changes that over time added up to something a lot bigger, something a lot more substantial. So I'm going to be separating these habits into different categories. I'm going to be doing physical health, mental health, and financial health. First up, we have physical health. The way that I have greatly simplified my life with minimal effort is just by carrying around a water bottle. Come on, let's be honest with ourselves. We're probably all super dehydrated. That's where all the headaches come from. And the easiest way that I have found to make sure that I'm actually drinking water is just to carry around a water bottle. And, you know, it doesn't hurt that it's like super cute too. Like, I love this thing. It's actually, it's got a filter in it too, so that's a big plus. So another habit that I've adopted is just a very simple skincare routine. Now, before this year, I actually didn't have a skincare routine at all. So this actually kind of added something, but I think in the long run, skincare, skin health is very important. Like I said, I keep mine very simple. It's just two things. So in the mornings, while I'm actually in the shower, I do a simple matcha cleanser. And then when I get out of the shower, I do a simple cream-based moisturizer. I've just come to realize that skincare really is important. And I'd like my skin to look the best that it can when I get older. One thing that I'm thinking about adding to that routine though, especially as the weather starts to get warmer, is some kind of sunscreen. Like I said, this area is pretty new to me, so if you have any kind of recommendations or advice you'd like to throw out, I'd be glad to hear it. Next up, we have mental health. So another habit that has greatly simplified my life and improved my mental health is dealing with my email inbox. I mean, just like you, I get a ton of emails in my inbox. That's pretty normal. So I put in the effort to actually unsubscribe to a bunch of different stores or newsletters or whatever that I don't actually read. I mean, I'm sure if you thought about it, you'd realize that there's just emails that you either ignore, like a psychopath that lets their inbox spread get up to like 1,000, that drives me crazy, or you're someone who just automatically deletes them, doesn't even look at them. But you can greatly reduce the email traffic that you get into your inbox just by unsubscribing to emails. Most emails you get make it pretty easy. There's usually a subscribe button, or they'll take you to their website and make you feel guilty for unsubscribing from them, but they'll be alright. And another way to simplify your email inbox is also by adding tags. I actually have done that. I have it in Gmail. You basically just apply a filter that categorizes your different emails and sends them to like different sub inboxes. So I do like a payments one, financial, investments, YouTube, just different arbitrary tags that kind of give you like an instant way of knowing if they're important or not, pretty much. Another habit that's greatly simplified my life is a weekly chore list. Now, this is actually a pretty new one. I had not done this until maybe like a couple of months ago, but it is completely taking the guesswork out of when I'm going to be doing my chores. I'm lucky enough to know that each week I'll have a specific day off from work that I know that I can do this. So just for example, I use Google Calendar, and every week on Sunday I have to do laundry, clean my cat's stinky box. I have to clean up my room by doing dusting, sweeping, to change out the sheets on my bed. These are things that I do every single Sunday. And to make it more fun, I have a little checkbox next to each of these things, so I get to check mark each of these things as I do them. And it shouldn't be as satisfying as it is, but what can I say? It works. Now, I understand that not everyone has the luxury of having a set schedule, so it could be a little bit more difficult for some to implement this into their life, but can't hurt to make a list of just weekly, monthly chores that need to be done and just pick a day that you know you'll have some time off to do them. The next habit that's helped me simplify my life is doing less social media. Now, it's no secret that social media has a certain effect on mental health. It's not really healthy to compare yourself to others who are only showing the highlight reels of their life. All the best things that are happening, like marriages, babies, new jobs, great businesses. And I totally get it. Scrolling is addictive. Oh my goodness. But just allowing yourself a set time to do that has personally helped me gain back so much of my time that I was just spent mindlessly scrolling. For example, I have all of my notifications turned off on basically all of my social media accounts, except for Snapchat, if you count Snapchat. I tried to reserve a certain amount of time to scroll Facebook, and that one's tough. I'll admit it. I'm not perfect. No one's perfect, but I do put in effort to avoid just spending too much time on the platform. TikTok. Oh my gosh. So my friends definitely send me a bunch of TikToks, but I only get on TikTok every couple weeks because I've never met a more addicting platform than TikTok. So I'm very wary of spending too much time on it. Another great habit that I've adopted is listening to podcasts and audiobooks. I mean, I'm a busy person. You're a busy person. We're all busy people. I get it. So finding the time to actually sit down and read something for a long period of time, it's tough, but thankfully audiobooks and podcasts are here to fix that. So personally, I love listening to podcasts or audiobooks just on my drives. I mean, I drive a lot. I have a 35 to 40-minute commute to work every day. And the way that I get that time back is by listening to these podcasts or audiobooks that are in some way increasing my knowledge. And honestly, it kind of makes that commute something I kind of enjoy. It's become part of my daily routine that kind of gets me up to the right energy levels to face the day. And finally, we have habits that have helped with my financial health. One super easy way to minimize stress related to financial health is by reducing or minimizing the amount of subscriptions that you have. Really taking a good hard look at what you have and what you maybe could do without. Or by figuring out if there's any subscriptions that you've totally forgotten about. The other way that I have greatly simplified my life is by setting up a direct deposit to multiple bank accounts. Now, I don't just mean like a direct deposit into just your checking account. I'm talking about several different accounts. I actually have, I think, like 8 total accounts that my money gets divided into. I'm probably a little bit excessive about it, but it's worked for me. So I have different accounts that will save up money throughout the month so that I don't have to think about where my money has come from. So for example, I have an account that saves up for my rent each month. I have one that saves up for trips, for gifts for people, for small investments that I want to make. But overall, just having money that collects over time automatically without you thinking about it, you will be surprised on how much money you can save up just by doing that. This has probably been the biggest game changer out of all of the habits that I've adopted. This has made my life so simple. I promise you. Most banks will do this. A lot of your jobs will do this. They may not give you like an unlimited amount of accounts that you can direct your deposits to, but usually they'll do at least like 3 or 4. Next up, a habit that helped me improve my financial health was budgeting. And I know what you're saying, ew, gross, budgets are lame, budgets are boring. That does not sound like simplicity, but oh my gosh, I promise you, budgets do not have to be difficult. Probably the simplest form of a budget that you could possibly have is one where you actually took the time to account for all of your monthly, weekly, or even bi-weekly expenses, broke that down, and saw how much of your money are going toward these expenses that you have to pay, like rent, car, mortgage, stuff like that. And also accounting for how much money you'd like to save or contribute towards retirement or investments. You add up those things first, and then whatever left over after that is how much money you have for your more varied expenses, like groceries, eating out, things that you can't really place a dollar amount on because, I mean, they change over time. Then you can set up a direct deposit and put your bills on auto draft, and boom, super easy budget. The key point on this type of budget though is to put the money that you want to save first. Rather than whatever money you have left over go to savings, make it a priority in the front side so that you take the guesswork out of how much money you want to save completely out of the equation. Personally, I'm a little bit extra and kind of an Excel nerd, and I totally have an Excel budget that's really obnoxious, but that's just me. I enjoy it. What can I say? I think probably the most important thing that budgets do, at least for me, is they give you a big picture on what's going on financially for you. And if you know what's coming in and what's coming out, you can start planning for the future. You can start planning on how much money, calculating how much money you can save over time, plan for vacations, plan for retirement, plan investments. It's so helpful in just getting your finances in order. And I cannot express to you the peace of mind that comes along with that. It is so worth it to put in just that little bit of time up front to calculate all this out and then set up these direct deposits. You just gain so much mental freedom along with great financial health. Another great habit that I've implemented to help simplify my financial health is investing automatically. I personally have a set amount of money that each pay period that goes directly towards purchasing ETFs and index funds. Index funds are like the Dow, NASDAQ, S&P 500. They basically give you a taste of a top section of companies that are performing well in the stock market. They're supposed to represent basically how the stock market overall is doing. They are, of course, still susceptible to the natural boom and bust cycles that the market goes through over time, but historically, they've done quite well. Now, I definitely recommend doing your own kind of research on this, just to give you kind of an understanding of what these index funds really are. The other type of assets that I like to invest in are called ETF, which stand for electronically traded funds. You're able to minimize risks because they are low cost, they're usually low barrier to entry. You can also hold a different selection of stocks or other securities, thereby increasing diversification. I think ETFs and index funds are great for people who recognize the importance of investing, but don't necessarily have the time to sit down and research these companies individually. All right, well, there you have it. There's my top minimal effort habits that have greatly simplified my life. And I definitely don't want anyone watching this to think that they have to try every single one of these things. These are just the things that have worked for me. I hope that this has helped spark a few new ideas on habits that you can implement into your own life. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.